Ben McKee, West Rucker, Go Vols 24/7 here inside of Thompson Bowling Arena at Food City Center with our full court press following number one Tennessee's 67-52 win over Norfolk State. Felt very similar to the MTSU game from a week ago. Feels like a century ago with Christmas in between. But Tennessee's last game out last Monday, I guess that was, against MTSU. Tennessee gets out to a hotter start today. I mean, Jazz Lanier could not miss. The basketball looked like the New Year's Eve ball in New York City, dropping
everywhere
through the rim. But then those last 10 minutes, the offense cooled off, and the defense didn't totally slip, but there were some possessions that I thought the defense allowed some easy buckets. But Rick Barnes was adamant post-game that he feels like this game and the MTSU game will help them moving forward, because it wasn't your average non-con game where you're going to beat somebody by 50 points. And that's a common theme we talk about every year going into SEC play, because they truly do set out to schedule some of the better mid-major teams.
Yeah, and that's a team that, it's them or Howard coming out of that league, unless there's a shocker in the MEAC tournament. Those are two strong teams that can go in there and give you a fight in like a 16-1 or a 15-2 game. And it's the kind of game it was. And I think what we've learned the past couple weeks, I really do believe this. I think there is a difference when the number one is by your name. If there's a number 2 or 3 or 4 by your name, you're going to get a big fight from someone. When you have that number one target on you, you are getting everyone's best. You are getting the best defense they can give you. You're getting the best tempo they can give you, the best focus they can give you. And that's not to excuse things when you don't do them well. Tennessee, there's things Tennessee needed to do better. But I never looked at that game and thought it was a bad game. I never during that game looked at it and said, that's not good. That's not good. I mean, there's a couple of times where maybe there's a couple drives to the rim that you don't normally see from the opponent, but Tennessee had control of that game the whole time. And you can always play better, but college kids, 3 years, New Year's Eve, you're the number one team in the country. For a million reasons, I'm not that concerned about this game.
Yeah, and to your point about the number one ranking, it's almost like it's vibranium from Wakanda for the opposing team.
Yes, it is.
It gets them going even a little bit more. So going into SEC play, maybe it's a good thing that there's a million SEC teams ranked, because there's going to be a target on everybody's back. In terms of some individual play tonight, we talked about Chaz. Interesting to listen to Rick talk post-game that he was mostly fine with the 16 threes that he took, which was the 4th most in program history. Rick said that he's getting better defensively, which is obviously a great thing, but he wants him to pick up the pace a little bit just in terms of his natural movements on the floor. He has more of a laid-back personality, and sometimes that can show itself on the floor. That's where Rick wants to see him continue to improve and take that next step to really even be even more productive, is by just his moving off the ball, his cutting and things of that nature.
Yeah, I think, when you look at what, the player that he was at North Florida, when you are by far, without question, the number one scoring option on a team, you play at your own pace. You play at the pace you want to play at, because your team's going to have to play the way you play. That's just kind of how it goes. And Lanier is still the best player on the team here. He's still the best, at least, scorer on the team here. But it's different. They have more options. It's a better team. He's walking in as a new guy. There's some things about this offense that you have to kind of pick up. And I think he's picked them up quickly. I think he's done a really nice job. We've seen guys take longer to adjust to that. But you saw that he's getting there. And I think there's times where he's still just a little bit hesitant. I actually think there's times where he could take more shots. He just passes them up. And he got a couple assists out of that by passing the ball to an open guy. I didn't have a problem. Maybe 1 or 2 of those 16 threes were shots he shouldn't have taken. The rest of them, I think his team would be upset if he turned them down.
Yeah, absolutely. He was pretty much the offense. You had 3 other guys with 10 points. Zakai, who also tied C.J. Watson for second on the all-time assist list with 6 of them today. Jordan Gainey had 10 points, had a nice dunk driving down the lane. And then Cade Phillips, another really strong performance from Cade Phillips, had 10 points, got it going at the free throw line a bit, which he talked about in one of his recent media availabilities. But most impressively, 5 block shots tonight, a career high. He was very impressive flying around on the floor, not only with the blocks, but also caught a couple of lobs, as he and Zakai tend to do.
Yeah, I mean, the way that Tennessee, when you have a point guard with Zakai Ziegler's caliber, right, in terms of the quickness, the vision, the intelligence, knowing where guys are supposed to be, and then you have, those kind of pterodactyls like Phillips and Okpara, Dubar when he's really healthy and dialed in, they can go up and get it. And he can throw it anywhere. I mean, a couple of those ones that he threw to Phillips, you're like, should he even? Oh, nope, good throw, because it just looks like he's not going to get up there. And he does. And that's the thing. Phillips on both ends of the floor, people get surprised sometimes by his athleticism. We can make a million jokes as to why, but the reason is he's a really good athlete. And people go in there and they don't expect him to be meeting them above the rim. And he does. And he does it consistently. He's going to have games offensively where you're like, oh, what are you doing occasionally? But guys like him always do that. He is an energy guy. He is who he is. He knows who he is. And he's a big part of this team.
Tennessee 13-0 to start a season for the second time in program history. It's the fifth time they've gone undefeated during non-conference play. A lot of good numbers and notes following today's win in SEC play. Will begin Saturday against John Calipari, Jonas Adu, and the Arkansas Razorbacks. There will be plenty of energy in the building, and of course we'll be in the building as well on Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern, which will be broadcasted on ESPN as SEC play begins, and we'll have all the coverage you need at GoVols247.com. He's Wes Rucker. I'm Ben McKee.